Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to tell you the truth about Charlotte Flair eviscerating Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown. John Cena has promised to ruin wrestling for everyone. That's very selfish. The Usos have wrestled their first tag team match in almost 2 years. And finally, we have some major plans for another big match at WrestleMania 41. I'm Andy. This is the news. I'm not very well. That's why I sound like an unlubricated lawnmower today. But hey, look, no one else is here, so we're not infecting anyone. It's all good. Let's kick this one off by talking about that Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair segment from this week's episode of SmackDown. So if you didn't see this, they did like a little pre-tape, little pre-recorded gimmick, side-by-side, different studios, presumably, where they were talking about each other and their WrestleMania match, which is, of course, coming up. And Tiffany got eviscerated. There's no other word to use in this situation. It was borderline burial material. Charlotte Flair was extremely dominant verbally and vocally in this segment. And yeah, she killed her. It was the kind of segment where, well, it wasn't terribly long or anything like that, but where it felt like Tiffany was kind of regurgitating these scripted lines, which weren't all bad or anything like that. Charlotte was just coming through with some heat. She was coming through with the heat. I mean, she said a bunch of different things like, you'll be lucky to have a job by the time you're my age, and then there were times when it just seemed like Tiffany just didn't have anything to say back to her. She was stumped. She was kind of looking for these more scripted lines, like rehearsed bits and pieces, whereas Charlotte's words had more of a looser, maybe an improv feel. I'm not saying she was improvising or whatever. That's just how it came across. It was an extremely one-sided segment. It's a good job Charlotte Flair is playing a heel these days, because if she was a babyface, oh boy. Either way, it's kind of crazy, and Sean Rossap of Fightful Select has some new information on what happened with this segment. He was asked about it as part of a Q&A. The question was, did Charlotte go off script during the satellite interview with Tiffany? What was the backstage reaction to the bloodbath? Was the worst word that the question asker used. So apparently some people believe, and this is a direct quote, that Charlie, okay, that Charlie definitely handled business on that one. As a direct quote from how people felt about it. Some other people felt that Tiffany was put there to either sink or swim in the situation, and while they didn't say that she sank outright, they just felt that Charlotte is a better swimmer in this situation. Yeah, I mean, that's one way of putting it for sure. And as far as going off script, Sean Rossap doesn't think that was the case, but it does seem like Charlotte knew everything that Tiffany was going to say and had a rebuttal for it. He doesn't think there was a lot of improvisation there, and a bunch of people apparently said that Charlotte looked good in the segment, but Tiffany did not. So yeah, I mean, I think I agree with that. I don't think it wasn't the biggest character assassination that anyone's ever done on WWE programming, let's be honest, but it was pretty brutal, and Tiffany, who's the babyface, got swept away a little bit. I think it was probably a learning experience for her. She's not had to go on air with a trained sniper like Charlotte Flair in a situation like this before. She's very young. She's only been doing this for a few years compared to Charlotte, of course. And look, Charlotte does this from time to time. It just happens. I will say that it fits her a lot better as a heel to be this domineering. Obviously, when she's a babyface and she's putting people down so strongly, that doesn't really align with what she's doing creatively and in terms of the character alignment, but she is the heel in all of this, and people think she's kind of a domineering character anyway, so it does kind of fit in a lot of ways. That being said, I don't think Tiffany's looked great in this feud so far. There have been a lot of one-sided segments. They obviously had a big brawl with multiple moonsaults off of things the other week, but yeah, we had the one a few weeks ago where Charlotte was just sitting over her and going, "Tiffy, wake up, Tiffy." It's wild. It's crazy. If they get to WrestleMania and Tiffany wins, I think that would be a pleasant surprise in all of this. But yeah, it doesn't really seem to be trending in that way at the moment. Interested to see how the next few weeks go, of course. But yeah, it definitely wasn't Tiffany's strongest week on SmackDown, and yeah, pretty interesting report here from Fightful on what happened. Doesn't seem like there was too much improvisation. It was just a bit of a one-sided pounding, and Charlotte was the one holding the hammer in this situation. But let us know what you think in the comments section below. Are you enjoying this presentation of Tiffany and Charlotte? Would you do it a bit better? Who do you think's winning at WrestleMania? Has it been good so far? Let us know down in the comments below. Let's talk about John Cena. He's going to ruin wrestling, apparently. And what's he going to do? Bring back James Ellsworth and put him over another Women's Money in the Bank match or something? I've no idea. But yeah, this was a promise made by Big John on last night's episode of Raw, which was in Glasgow, Scotland. He opened the show with another one of his promos. He's got the last time is now towel and dark t-shirt and all of this stuff. It was kind of a similar promo to the one he cut last week in terms of it was a lot of each and every one of you people. You are to blame for me going heel. He didn't do the ET finger, but it would be funnier if he did, wouldn't it? But yeah, the hook of it was that John Cena is going to ruin wrestling, apparently. And he kind of spoke about how he was criticised in the past for having things like the spinner belt and people telling him the title's not a toy and all of this stuff. Real meat of it was him saying, I'm going to ruin wrestling for every fan, for every wrestler, for everyone at WrestleMania 41. I make history by winning a 17th World Championship. And I am finally going to force you to forget the name of the fun machine, jet-flying, woo Ric Flair. You will forever say the name John Cena. But even worse, I'm going to win that championship, the center of every superstar in this business, of every fan in this building. I will win that championship and retire with it. I am taking it home with me and leaving all of you to create a brand new toy belt because the real one comes home with me. So Cody came out and he was kind of jonesing for a fight. He took off his jacket, pulled his shirt apart a little bit. He's like, come on, John, let's throw down, John. And then he just kind of let him walk. So yeah, but Cena kind of got about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way up the ramp or whatever. Cody said the following to him: I need you to understand that your psychotic need to take the WWE title does not outweigh your right to keep it. The champ is no longer standing there. The champ is standing in the center of this ring and seeing you walk away empty-handed. John Cena, that is how you walk away, how you will walk away from WrestleMania, and that is how you will walk away from WWE. So, still no physical stuff between these two. Still no mention of The Rock either as part of all of this, which is quite curious. Obviously, the hook of the heel turn was selling the soul. Cody telling The Rock to GFY in slightly more unpleasant terms. And then, of course, Cena going, actually, I'm going to turn heel. I don't buy my soul, Chief, is fine. But there's been no mention of The Rock since then. If I was a gambling man, I would say that that's because The Rock has no idea what he's doing. God bless him. I love him. He's all over the place. And that's why there's not been any particular follow-up on that. I will say it's a bit interesting as well that Cody just hasn't beaten John Cena up at this stage. He was pretty damn pissed after the Elimination Chamber and the big angle and all that stuff. He spent a couple of weeks jonesing to get his hands on this guy, and he just kind of talked at him. Maybe he senses the dangerous Dwayne lurking in the distance or something. Either way, look, these promos have been extremely well received by the WWE faithful so far. They're very well performed. I don't think that anyone could say they're not well performed. You can absolutely pick the material apart a little bit, but I think John Cena saying he's going to ruin wrestling is so comical. I just kind of love that. What's he gonna do? Is he just gonna tear down the WrestleMania sign? Is he gonna fire Triple H? Who knows? It's John Cena. He can do what he wants. He's all over the shop. He's a crazy man. I would like to see something concrete with The Rock and more of a resolution on that storyline. What the hell's going on there? Why haven't we broached that yet? That's a little bit weird. Have they got something planned, or is The Rock flying by the seat of his pants as he usually seems to do? He's a very chaotic dude. I love the chaos he brings to the table. It makes everything a bit more interesting for me personally, but I appreciate it at the same time. Maybe some people just want pure Cody versus Cena. Maybe they don't want this crazy Rock guy farting around figuring out what he's doing at WrestleMania 58 by the time he wrestles next at this rate. Either way, cool. Yeah, John Cena's going to ruin wrestling, so I guess enjoy it while you still have it. It's going to be gone soon, my friends. We're going to have to hold a funeral. Maybe we'll do like a little ceremony for it, a little Irish wake. We can all wear those green John Cena t-shirts, because why not? I'm running out of steam here with my croaky ass voice, but again, let us know what you think of the John Cena stuff in the comment section below. Simon Miller will, of course, be here later on with a little ups and downs action, reviewing everything that happened on the show. Speaking of things that happened on the show, a little bit of a reaction here as well. The Usos had their first WWE tag team match, actually their first televised 2-on-2 tag match since July 2023. That's almost 2 years. That's crazy. On last night's episode of Raw, the angle was that Jey Uso was going to have a mystery tag team partner against A-Town Down, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory in Glasgow. And as Jey was making his entrance, Jimmy just came out of nowhere from behind him, and suddenly it was the Usos versus A-Town Down Under, which is great because the Usos they're fantastic. They won, of course. They beat A-Town Down Under. You will be pleased to know, if you didn't watch the show, that yes, Austin Theory did put up a better fight than the previous week when he lasted a couple of seconds. But it was good to see them back together again, Jimmy and Jey. I mean, obviously they've had War Games and some other stuff here and there, but core tag team matches, there's not many better in WWE, and I thought they both looked really good as well. Yeah, Jay's obviously got the world title business to deal with at the moment, and Jimmy's doing his thing over here as well. But at some point, you're going to have to put them back together as a proper tag team, man. There's just too much money in it. And I thought they looked really, really good against the heel tag team that did a very professional job in putting them over. Now, and after this match, there was an attack by Gunther on Jey, continuing their feud, heading towards WrestleMania. Jimmy cleared it out, he came back and evened the score. Gunther was gone. Later on in the evening, there was a backstage angle involving Jimmy and Gunther, where, well, I mean, there was one with Jimmy and Jey first, where Jimmy was trying to just kind of goose, that's not the word, Jimmy, Jey up a little bit, trying to get him fired up, trying to go, hey, you can't beat Gunther like this, I need the old Yeet Man, all this stuff. The guy who became main event Jey Uso in the first place, trying to fire his brother up to beat this domineering beast of a man in Gunther. And then later on, Gunther and Jimmy kind of set up a match for next week. Jimmy was like, I'm going to fight you. Gunther kind of laughed at him, so Jimmy just slapped him really hard in the face, which was really satisfying. Walked away. Gunther looked like he had a scalped arse, the poor boy, in all of this. But yeah, cool to see the Usos back together for sure. Look, they're one of the most decorated WWE tag teams of all time. They obviously work extremely well together. They've been doing completely different, separate storyline stuff. They had the match last year at WrestleMania, which was... It wasn't the best, let's be honest. Maybe that's out of their system now. I certainly hope it is. I think they're better together than the parts. But Jey is immensely popular. He's got this huge wave right now of momentum. And yeah, look, there have been some pretty strong criticisms of Jey and his work and his maybe suitability for a world title run. But he is also extremely over. This is the thing you have to balance it with. Like, yeah, he botched a couple of things the other week, but like, but the crowds absolutely adore this dude. The entrance is ridiculous. He sells loads of merch. He's really over. And ultimately, that's what they're going to go with. I don't think they really care that he kind of top dollar the dive or whatever. It's fine. We'll forget about it soon enough. Although I do understand why there are some concerns. Yes, him and Gunther is not exactly, maybe not the highest ceiling match on the WrestleMania card, but that's what they're going with, and he's probably going to win the title. And look, if you're in that building and Jey Uso wins, are you telling me you're not on your feet doing a yeet for like 10 minutes straight afterwards? Are you telling me you won't have fun and get swept up in that moment? If you're telling me that, I think you're a liar, my friend. Either that or we just have different tastes. It's okay. Right, finally, let's talk about some potential plans for another WrestleMania match that may have been revealed concerning the Intercontinental title. Now, I guess this stuff could be interpreted as spoilers because it's not an officially announced match, it's a plan. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to bail on this one if you don't want to hear about it. Is timestamps below. You can go watch some of the previous stories again. Why the hell not? Listen to this ASMR voice. It's gorgeous. Okay, I think that's enough. We're going to go into the story, the spoiler, the potential spoiler stuff here now. This is a report from Fightful Select stating that the plans currently for the IC title, the men's IC title, are a four-way match, being Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio for WrestleMania 41. This is a whole web of characters and crisscrossing paths and stuff at the moment, so there's been all kinds of stuff. So last night on Raw, it was Penta versus Braun for the belt. Penta had challenged Braun Breaker to a title match. It ended with a DQ. There was interference from Dominic Mysterio and Carlito and Finn Balor. a bunch of shenanigans done in front of the referee's face, so it ended in Braun's favour, but it's not really a win. It's a DQ in this situation. Afterwards, the Judgment Day have of course been trying to get Penta to join. Well, Dom's been like, hey Penta, join the Judgment Day, and Finn Balor's been like, no, I don't want that. That's a terrible accent, I'm very sorry, Finlay. There's been that kind of core of tension there. There was a big angle last night where after the match, the heels beat up Braun Breaker. Dom gave Penta a chair and went, whack him. Penta did not whack him and instead got beaten up by everybody because he didn't want to hit Braun with a chair. Finn ended up hitting a coup de grace to close the segment and indeed the show. So you can see immediately how these four people are intertwined. And it looks like you're getting a multi-person match there. So there's a bunch of multi-person stuff on this card in terms of we've got Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, which is now official. We've got probably, who the hell knows what's going on. Adam Pearce needs to get a hold of the division, but there's Io Sky, Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. They're various fights they have every single week where a lot of it is Io and Bianca going, let's have a match at WrestleMania, yes. And then Rhea Ripley comes down and goes, no. That's how it's gone so far. But we have a match next week between Io and Ripley, which will maybe clarify that or maybe make it even more complicated at this stage. Who the heck knows? But looks like they're heading in that four-way direction for the Intercontinental title. Is that something you're into? Would you prefer a straight-up singles match? Let us know down in the comments section below. Either way, that's about all my voice has the capacity to get through today, so slightly shorter video than usual. Apologies for that, my very good friends, but we do what we can here. Adam will be back tomorrow. Things will be a bit more normal from tomorrow for a few more days, and then they get crazy again, but hey, it's all good. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for listening to me croak at you for however many minutes this has been. I'm going to drink a lemon. No, I'm not even going to liquefy. I'm just going to drink a lemon. That's the level of desperation I'm at today with this bloody flu. But hey, see you later. Bye.